A successful CEO's heart races when a young woman, who bears a striking resemblance to his long-lost love, walks into his office seeking a job. Little does he know, their encounter will unlock a chain of events that will change their lives forever. Alexandra's breath hitched as she stepped into the opulent office of Alexander Sterling, the renowned CEO of Sterling Industries. The mahogany doors had swung open with barely a whisper, but the sound echoed in her chest like thunder. She had heard tales of his sharp mind and piercing dazzle, but nothing had prepared her for the intensity of his presence. Alexander sat behind his imposing desk, Manhattan sprawling beneath him like a conquered kingdom. His eyes, however, seemed emptier than the day he had built this empire. The morning interviews had blurred together, eager faces seeking employment, rehearsed answers about career goals. The usual dance of corporate hiring. At 45, Alexander had perfected the art of looking interested while his mind wandered to spreadsheets and board meetings. But as Alexander entered, his world tilted. She wore a simple yet elegant dress. Her posture straight despite the obvious nervousness that radiated from her every movement. Her eyes, deep blue with flecks of gold, framed by lashes that cast shadows on high cheekbones, stared back at him with familiar intensity. The curve of her lips, the way she tilted her head slightly when uncertain, every detail was impossibly heartbreakingly familiar. Mr. Sterling, his assistant, Victoria's voice, carried its usual professional warmth. Your 11:30 appointment is here, Alexandra, his assistant, who defended him in college, the woman he loved and lost 2 decades ago. The name crashed through his consciousness like a dam bursting. But this couldn't be Alexandra. Are you all right? Alexandra's voice carried a slight accent, musical and warm. Mr. Sterling, yes, I'm fine. Please sit down. I'm sorry. You remind me of someone. Alexandra settled into the leather chair across from his desk, her hands folded in her lap. That happens sometimes, people say. I have one of those faces. If only she knew. Alexander forced himself to focus on the present, on the young woman before him rather than the ghost she so perfectly resembled. Tell me about yourself, Miss Alexandra. I graduated from NYU last month with a degree in business administration. Her voice was soft and confident, with a determination that hinted at a story untold. I know I don't have much experience, but I'm willing to work harder than anyone else you'll interview. I need this job, Mr. Sterling. My mother, she's sick and the medical bills. Her voice caught, and she took a steadying breath. I'll do whatever it takes. The way she said mother sent another shock through Alexander's system. The pronunciation, the slight emphasis on the first syllable, exactly how Alexander used to say it when she spoke of her family in Greece. His hands gripped the edge of his desk so tightly his knuckles went white. Your mother, he managed, his voice rougher than intended. Where is she? Greece. Alexandra's eyes brightened with love and worry. She raised me alone after we moved here when I was 3. She worked 3 jobs to put me through school, and now it's my turn to take care of her. The doctors say she needs surgery, but the costs, she trailed off, perhaps realizing she was sharing too much with a potential employer. Greece, he felt his heart pounding. He remembered the times he talked to Alexandra about Greece, how she always spoke with a certain longing about the Greece she had left behind. And here was the proof, the echoes of a past he had buried deep, now standing before him. The door opened then, revealing Victoria, her eyes widening slightly as she took in the scene. Mr. Sterling, she began, but Alexander cut her off with a wave of his hand. I'll take care of this myself, Victoria. As the door closed behind her, Alexander turned his gaze back to Alexandra, his mind a whirlwind of emotions and memories. He needed time to process, to understand the implications of this unexpected encounter. Miss Alexandra, he said, his voice steadier now, I'll be in touch about the position. Thank you for coming in today. As Alexander stood and prepared to leave, Alexander couldn't shake the feeling that their paths had crossed for a reason. He knew he had to uncover the truth, to understand the connection that bound them together. As the door closed behind her, Alexander sat alone in his office, the weight of the past pressing down on him. He knew he had to find out more about this young woman who had walked into his life and stirred up emotions he had long suppressed. But as he reached for his phone to call Victoria, he couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled in his chest. For in that moment, he knew that his world was about to change in ways he could never have imagined.